All right, so example number 1. Kim is going to conduct an experiment with the spinner shown below. If she spins the spinner 140 times, how many times will the arrow most likely land on a 1? So again, we're making a prediction. I don't know exactly how many times the spinner is going to land on a 1 if I spun it 140 times. This is also the benefit to using these things because we can, instead of sitting there and having to spin the spinner 140 times, we could use a proportion to kind of figure that out. So again, our proportions are all with the idea that part over whole is equal to part over whole. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to set up my fractions. The problem tells us that she spins it 140 times. That would be a whole. That's a total, right? Another name for that whole would be totals. I'm going to add that in. That 140 is a total, therefore it goes on the bottom. They want to know how many times the arrow will most likely land on a 1. Well, there's 1, there's another 1. I only have 2 1s. Now, the 2 doesn't go on top of the 140 because that would say that I spin a 1 twice out of 140, and that's just not realistic. The 2 is a part. There's 2 spaces with a 1. 2 spaces with a 1. Out of, how do I get another total? Take the 2 seconds to add up your total number of spaces. 8. So out of 8 total. And of course, they're asking me to figure out how many times, so that's where my x goes. Once you've got that set up, all you got to do is cross multiply per usual. 8x is equal to 280. Divide both sides by 8 to isolate that variable and get 35, which means that approximately 35 times it will land on 1. Again, not exactly what's going to happen, but it is a relatively good prediction that if I spun the spinner 140 times, about 35 of them would be a 1.